Welcome to Inside the Canopy Files, a production of Canopy Realtor Association in Charlotte, North Carolina.
I'm Todd Long, a realtor, broker, also a Canopy MLS Board of Directors member, North Carolina Board of Directors member, and the Canopy Advisory Chair this year. Yes, I've been busy. I'm also a tech enthusiast who worked for Gateway Computers for several years before becoming a realtor. Today, I'm the host of the Inside of the Canopy Files, and we're talking all things tech, specifically real estate technology. This tech tune-up will address the latest updates embraced by the Canopy MLS this year, review some exciting new tools, and take a look at what's on the horizon. Yes, the market is cooling a bit, but we've got a hot tech tune-up to help your business sizzle. Technology is evolving and moving at breakneck speed, and that includes real estate tech too. And the next generation of home buyers and sellers, which are the millennials and the Gen Zs, are quite comfortable in a rapidly changing world. In fact, they've never known a world where the internet was not at their fingertips. For smartphones, to tablets, to gaming and online portals, the next generation of home buyers and sellers have to come to expect a sleek, sophisticated, high-tech experience. And the forward-thinking realtors trying to cultivate and reach the next generation of clients need to be tech-savvy and able to meet the needs of this new generation. We're back, and joining me in this conversation is Debbie Way, Vice President of MLS Administration, and Bryan Perkins, Broker Relations Manager. He's also known in the local realtor community as the guy who helps me. Thanks for joining me, you guys.
Thanks, Todd. Glad to be here.
Thanks for having us, Todd.
Sure. As I was researching this podcast, I came across this stat from NAR. 41% of 6,000 real estate executives and senior management at firms surveyed at the end of the year of 2021 said a primary challenge over the next 2 years is keeping up with industry innovation. In that same article, the real estate professionals actually want more technology. With this most desired tools, they were citing as cybersecurity, followed by lead generation, electronic notary services, things like that. Now, guys, I was quite surprised to see that NAR said our members wanted more technology because our own Canopy MLS just had an update to our matrix system, which for casual listeners is the database tool or local broker marketplace provided by Canopy MLS where brokers list and find homes for sale. And this was a simple update for the most part. It actually only affected like the look or the aesthetics of the system, which in my opinion was probably better now because it was kind of like a 1980s interface that CoreLogic gave us, and we were updating that. There were a lot that went into that, a lot of reasons we needed to update that system. And maybe Debbie will talk about that a little bit, but it was really an aesthetic change that was happening. However, a lot of our members had a real life who moved my cheese experience and really, kind of hated some of those changes. So Debbie and Bryan, do you think that it's true that members are embracing tech and that it's just the louder voices that are disturbed by changes or just drowning out the majority?
I've seen it written, adapt or die.
Sure.
And that sounds a little bit dire, but real estate professionals, they have to keep up with the rapid pace of tech changes or else they're going to be left behind.
Sure.
So I know change is difficult for everyone, including me. And we always try to give our members as much advance notice as possible about upcoming changes so that they can be prepared. But at the same time, there's this responsibility that you also have to read the information that we put out. And so members just need to make sure they take time to read those pop-ups and e-headlines when we send that out so that they can be aware. And then also if there's feedback, to be sure to get it to us directly to our MLS support. A lot of members like to go out on Facebook and post in private groups and things like that, but we don't actually see that feedback on those groups. So we really want members to send that feedback directly to us. Some changes just take a little bit of getting used to, which I think is what we have with the new Matrix homepage, but we do listen to the feedback from our members, and we've already shared some of the, little things that, maybe smaller font sizes or smaller widgets, things like that we've shared with CoreLogic. So, hopefully some of that feedback will be taken into consideration. As far as embracing change, I do think our leadership serving on committees, on our board of directors, they do embrace technology and change because we have to. If prop tech is evolving at such a rapid pace, the products and tools that we provide are aimed to help keep realtors at the center of that real estate transaction, which is not always the case with every prop tech vendor out there.
True.
So the partners that we work with do have that as the core of what they want to do. And even though it can be hard to accept some of these changes, it is necessary because the competitors are out there and we've got to stay at the cutting edge so that we are not going to be left behind.
Yeah. And not to get too deep into the weeds, but can you talk for a second about why we actually made the changes we made? There's a lot of back end stuff that actually happened, and there were reasons that really we had to make the changes we did at this time.
To me, the most basic is that now the homepage is what they call responsive, has responsive to design. And throughout the system, other aspects of the system have already undergone this reformatting into a responsive design.
Right.
The contacts, for example, is one area that's like that. Your settings area is like that. And so gradually they are redesigning the whole system so that it's responsive, so that you'll no longer need to have this Matrix mobile, which is a completely different looking version of Matrix out there. So it'll work on
a totally different tool to even try to learn.
Right. It'll work on an iPad, a desktop, a laptop, your phone, no matter what kind of device you're on.
Should look the same everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think this just came to mind is that we're walking a tightrope, right? And we're trying to get from one place to another, and technology is kind of the thing that keeps us unbalanced, and we're trying to keep going ahead, and we see the focus, but
one of the many things that keep the realtors unbalanced.
Yeah, exactly. So we're trying to edge the gap between the technology advancements and not disrupting the daily workflow. We want to make sure that they can continue to do what they do. And maybe better.
Right.
And so we as a staff, the support team, the broker relations team, we're constantly listening. We want to hear what people have to say about things, because sometimes we hear, especially that fervor out there in the social media world, that there's misconceptions about what we did, and people are freaking out because we moved their cheese. So we just want to make sure that we're listening and hearing what's being said out there. We're also letting them know that what things aren't true and what things are true, and also we want to make sure that we're presenting to them the value of the change. How this is going to advance us in the future. And then also we just want to make sure that they know we're here for them. So when they need some help, it's not about what did they do to us? It's, hey, I know there's somebody there that can help me with that and get me over that hump, because the technology is vital to their, advancement in their carear, and, to make more money and to be more professional. I mean, it's all part of that. So it is a balancing act.
And what I'm hearing you say there is, as realtors, we get so caught up in the minutia of our daily business, trying to buy and help people buy and sell real estate. Sometimes we skip through those pop-ups that come up in MLS and we think, oh, that's just an ad or something, but it's not. Staff works really hard to make sure there are only pop-ups on that screen that are pertinent to realtors to be able to read. So I would encourage my peers to read those. I mean, just take a moment to read through those, because it's probably some information that's coming up that is going to affect your use of something.
Most definitely. And I think that if you know about something ahead of time and you're able to prepare for it, because we all have some time, when it's at the moment, maybe we don't, because we've got 6 other things on our plate.
That's right.
But if beforehand you take a little time to say, let me introduce myself to this, let me read more about this, let me ask a question about this, maybe I don't understand what they're saying, then maybe that doesn't become such a big hindrance in learning the technology. Or just a lot of people just put up a wall and say, I'm not doing it. They're just doing this to make things difficult. When the reality is we're just trying to make things better. We know what works. We test everything. Our vendor tests everything. So we know we're putting good things out there.
Yeah, and I know from being head of the MLS advisory and being on MLS board of directors, there's a lot of work that goes into any changes that happen. And it seems like from the user, sometimes it's just a thing to just happen. But there's a lot of work that goes into that. So, and you would suggest if they do have a concern, because sometimes things are missed. We beta test things and we work through things, but sometimes things are missed. And your suggestion is for them to probably call in to support and say, hey, in my daily use, I'm seeing this. What can we do to fix that? And then that gets moved up.
Correct. Yeah. And it also sometimes opens their eyes to something that they didn't even realize was in place that kind of, sometimes we point them in the direction of how things should work. Yeah. Because it wasn't intuitive enough before. Yeah. So a lot of times it's just like they're just trying to streamline the process because clicks are our nemesis. Can't tell you how many times, and Debbie could probably confirm on this, clicks are vital to get them down. It's too many clicks. It's too many clicks. It's too many clicks. And so that's really a big goal is just let's streamline. So let's get them to what they need quicker right, and more intuitively. Yeah.
I feel like we've already kind of jumped into this, but let's start from the beginning of the year and address some upcoming changes that we've seen so far, or do we want to kind of clear the air on what has happened with the matrix change recently? Like what changed with matrix this year and in the past week or so that, and what's in store for the future?
So Todd, I think that, change is inevitable for the future. We talked about it. It's like that friend that shows up uninvited. You can't stop it, but he's your buddy, and so, so we just, we gotta just make sure that we're prepared for that. Yeah. I think specifics of things that we did this year, we did the database overhaul, which was pretty huge. And the great thing about that was it wasn't in the face of all the members. So that was a change that prepared for change in the future. Yes. So that was something that, a lot of people saw some things move, but for the most part, we added some great features. We added some new reporting, and we really streamlined the data for future upgrades.
And the data, we were streamlining for our vendors too, right?
For vendors, for their personal websites, for their brokerage websites, for anybody that uses that data, it's going to make it a lot easier for them to grab that and to use it for their need. Right. For sure. And so, we're seamlessly hooking up with the data, with the brokers and the subscribers. I will defer to Debbie on this to elaborate more on the technical. She's heavily involved in that. I do think that one of the freshest things that we've done, probably the newest thing, was the homepage we were talking about earlier, and the intuitive design and the movement of the widgets and the more intuitive turning on and off of those widgets, I think has really been a great tweak. It made it more modern as well.
Yeah, giving the user a little bit more control.
Exactly. We also, as Debbie stated earlier, again, we've been making changes to contacts over time. The contacts piece of Matrix has always been a little different than the rest because that was kind of the preview of what's to come for our system. And so we're going to be eyeing some changes when it comes to ad edit and also to searching that I'll let, again, Debbie talk about a little bit more.
Oh, good.
And then, just some cool stuff that I think is really great to present to members is those specialized things like the horse amenities for the people that do the horse farms. That's always been something that's been difficult to define to that consumer that wants those specific needs. Exactly. Important. Yeah. And so it's really easy with this database conversion to add those kind of things for people, the specific things that people want. And we've got bins for them. So it's really easy to organize that in that way.
I think Debbie and I in the MS Advisory have learned a lot about horses this year.
We really have.
Things that I didn't know.
And there's more to come, right? Yes. We have some new options being added to that field soon.
Yes.
But so remember data done better. That was our theme for the Matrix database conversion earlier this year. And the whole point of that was to create a compliant database at the ad edit level when members input their listings into the system so that we have a database that complies with the real estate standards organization known as RESO. Yep. And that's the national standardized data organization that we try to make sure that we're in compliance with. And it makes it easy for all this real estate technology to talk to each other. So they're not having to go through, reformatting the data, which slows down the time to market.
And also messes up the data.
Right.
Like sometimes if they're having to reformat, they may not know in our local market what a certain field means. So they're trying to remap it to something in their database, and then it it doesn't look right online.
Exactly.
And then our clients are mad at us because it says such and such, and that's not what I have.
Right. I mean, as simple as different statuses. You know, some sites use the word contingent. We use under contract.
Yeah, pending. I mean, they use all different language. Yeah.
Right. So this standardization really does help everyone in the real estate industry.
And RESO's really been around for many years now, but it's just starting to get a foothold nationally so that it's a standard across the entire nation for terms and such.
Right. Right. So, you know, and Bryan mentioned briefly about search and add edit, that there may be some changes coming up with that. That is on the horizon. And one thing that I'll mention about that is we'll have the opportunity to use beta testers with the search, because we're going to be able to roll that out so that members will be able to toggle back and forth between the new search and the old search. We can't always do that in the system. It wasn't an option with the new homepage, but it is an option with search. So we're going to,
if you like your cheese where it is currently, you can leave your cheese there for a while.
Yeah. And that works really, like the beta testers works really well for us. We use beta testers with Data Done Better. And we use beta testers with MLS Touch when we rolled that out. And so we try to use them as much as we can.
And just to be clear, beta testers aren't staff people beta testing. It's Realtor members who are literally using the system, and they're in a forum of some sort where they can express what they're experiencing, and then that can be worked on before it's rolled out to everyone.
Yeah, and we extend that opportunity to be a beta tester to our members who serve on committees, and basically anybody who signs up for a committee is kind of our first group that we go to. But if you're a member and you just want to be a beta tester, all you got to do is reach out to us. Just send an email to me or Bryan, and we're happy to get you on the list.
Or you can call in to tech support and say, hey, Debbie and Bryan mentioned on the podcast, I'd like to be a beta tester on the search function that's getting ready to go through a change. Yeah,
exactly.
That's a great idea. Thank you.
And
Debbie.
speaking of beta testing, Showing Time actually has sort of a beta testing version. I don't know if any of our members have seen that. Just in the last week, they launched the newest version, but they're able to switch between. So if they don't feel comfortable in the new one, they can switch back to their old familiar format. Everything saves. So that's kind of a method of beta testing that one of our vendors is doing right now.
Yeah, and if members are in the new version and they're seeing things that maybe aren't working right, get back to us, help us.
And there's an opportunity right there on the site to actually reach right out to Showing Time and actually give them the feedback as well. But we'd love to hear it also. We want to hear what our members have to say about our partner products as well. But definitely they're listening and want to hear it.
And what are some of the best practices for our members and subscribers and agents in general that they can do to prepare for these tech changes? Because they're coming fast and furious.
Yeah, Todd, sometimes change can be difficult, but the members do have the ability to learn about new technology through the classes and the training that we offer. And you can sign up for these classes through Bryan Perkins and his team. And they do a fantastic job of really making the technology relatable to what realtors do in their day-to-day business. And it's also good, just to know what your backup plan is, because, there could be a time when one system is, not up and running for some reason. And you decide, well, I could use RPR for this, or I could use Remind for this, and just know what all the products are that you have available at your fingertips, because some do things better than others, or, you may want to, just try something different. So it's good to look at all of that. The other thing I would recommend is take advantage of the news subscriptions that we offer through Riz Media and Real Estate News. That is founded by Stefan Swanepoel. These news providers have lots of articles about prop tech and help you really kind of be on the cutting edge of what's coming down the pike, so that you can be aware and be on the forefront.
Yeah, Riz Media is awesome. I've really enjoyed that. I was a coach for many years in real estate, and I always told my coaching clients that about every 30 days you need to change your elevator speech. You got 10 seconds in an elevator that you need to explain something to somebody. Using a tool like Riz Media and just reviewing what is happening in the market on a national, local, level, and then have those as talking points. If somebody says, how's the real estate market? Oh, it's great. Well, you've really made an impression. But if you can really give them some insight as to what's happening in new construction compared to resale market, then that sticks in their brain. And those tools are here for us to use. And Riz Media has some great stuff there. So
they're also going to help them with their social media presence.
Yeah, true.
You know, either reposting a story or just retelling a story in a way that relates more to their market is where a lot of that content can go.
Yeah, for sure.
And we actually create a lot of content also for our members with our Grab and Grow and our other social media graphics. And we also even have talking points to all of our statistics. So we've got a lot of good stuff out there that if people were just to look for it in the news and in our monthly statistical releases, you got a lot of stuff out there to talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that's a great idea to change it up.
Yeah.
You want to shock somebody, especially the guy that asks you every day, how's the real estate market? You keep telling him yes.
Right. And they think that it's just going to be a casual conversation, but if you can lay some information on them.
Right. Hey, listen to what I heard. Right.
Yeah. It helps.
Exactly.
And then what about training? Like what?
We are, it's a difficult thing that we do because we get people at all different levels of their career. We got people starting out today and we're trying to force feed them all this stuff. And then we've got people that are just trying to keep up.
And they might be starting out as a 20-year-old or as a 60-year-old.
Yes, exactly. And so that's a totally different, two same people in the same room at a different age or totally different student. And so we try to make sure that we first of all offer something that works for everybody. We do on-site for, people like myself. I'm 54 years old. I like to sit in the classroom. A lot of the younger folks like to be online. So we offer webinars. We do live. We have recorded stuff that's provided by our vendors, and we just curate it on our training page and just give, on-demand links to stuff that's already out there created. We'll set up an office visit for your office and come and do a training for a sales meeting, or we'll do a half a day or a full day boot camp for right now. We're doing some stuff for one firm where we're coming in and training their new agents after their orientation. They have questions, we want to just give them a little more.
Brian, I've heard great feedback from you and your group on that, going out to the offices and small office, large office. It really doesn't matter. You'll travel anywhere that our MLS reaches, basically.
Yes, and we have 3 trainers that do that. We have 2 in the Western region, and then myself, and actually have a contractor as well that does some stuff in the Charlotte. So we have 2 in Charlotte area, and we have 2 in the Western region. We also have a specialized trainer for Supra that does some on-demand stuff. Bridget Bouvier's done some great stuff on our YouTube channel. She's really beefing that up for us. So we try to put that out there too. Anything that we feel is important at the time. YouTube's a great place to launch videos like how to search by address. That was a big change that happened in the MLS recently. And so a lot of people didn't know about the speed bar in the MLS. Yeah, that was like an eye opener for a lot of folks. Tool. And it was a 40-second video that I was like, it's needed. So we just do it. We put it out there. So check our YouTube channel. I just did one on the new Market Watch because it's changed a little bit on the homepage as well. Yeah. So we just want to make sure we're constantly putting out stuff that everybody can digest and use in the way that they use it the best.
And if there's any of the leadership in our offices that are listening and there's something they would like for you to come in for, they can certainly reach out. But even if they're getting the same question over and over and over again, and it's something that they would like to be able to just have a video they could just send to their, person that keeps the people that keep asking, reach out to you.
Yes.
So you'll do a video.
Yeah, if I don't have one that'll do that, we'll create something. I mean, usually our most popular videos are the short ones. We call them matrix minutes. I think the longest one's like 2.5 minutes long. Yeah. Usually focuses on one little feature because that's usually how people learn. True. I need to use this right now. How am I going to use it? And they'll remember because it was part of their real work. Yes. Right. As opposed to just learning, and maybe I'll use that in the future. But when I do, am I going to remember? Yeah. So that's where we really feel like we're vital in that we're providing that short content. We're also providing at the time of need. When they need it, when they're asking the question. And then our help desk just does an amazing job. Like I think when I'm out there, I tell everybody that our help desk is they're our best trainers because again, they meet the member where they are. Yes. It's not where I'm going to be. I'm working on right now. It's urgent and I need to do this now because they'll remember the steps. Right. And they'll repeat it a couple times because they want to make sure that that's something they don't have to call back about. Right. But if you do, it's fine. Yeah. We'll repeat it again. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the help staff is awesome. They're doing a great job. Now, because a lot of our realtor listeners are in this local market, the Piedmont region, let's go back to the beginning of the year and recap some of the updates and some of the other tools. Debbie?
Okay, well, it has been a busy year, Todd. So we did just start offering real estate news, which we just talked about. List Track, which we debuted on June the 1st, is another tool. Yeah. And it really reinforces that what we talked about with the data being in this new RESO compliant structure and how that really increases the marketability of listings on the internet.
Yes.
So we're seeing, you're able to see that through List Track now. And RPR has had some improvements with their mobile app. And they also recently launched a new market trends report that is shareable.
Is awesome.
Yeah, on social media. You can put that in presentations and videos. And Realist has had several upgrades. That's our tax database.
Yeah.
They have an upgrade coming that is a market trends report that's being redesigned with additional market analysis insights built into that. And you may have seen the banner on Showing Time that just popped up within the past few days that they are in the process of a next generation rollout that Canopy MLS members will have the ability to, again, toggle back and forth, try the new Showing Time. It's a soft launch, so you can toggle back and forth.
And we try to do that a lot, but sometimes that's not possible. But it's great that you can toggle because if there's something you don't like in the new one, you can just, okay, I just got to get this done right now and go back to the old one. But a lot of that stuff will sunset. So at some point, we'll switch over to the new one.
Right. Well, Showing Time will.
Yes.
But yeah, true. But don't wait to try that. Like, this is what we're talking about. Like, build it into your routine. Don't wait until the last minute.
Right.
When you have a spare moment, give it a chance. And I've already signed up for the new Showing Time, and just the series of questions it asks you at the beginning were, to me, new and refreshing. So I would definitely encourage members to give it a try.
Awesome.
I think they're really going to love the calendars on Showing Time too. I think that's the big thing that people have been looking for. It's the view of the calendar, and it's really easy to kind of keep organized. I think that's a lot of the changes they made is organization. Yeah. And again, more intuitive.
Yeah. And Showing Time has been a really good partner for us for this. So, and as a techie, I love it when we get these updates and these new toys to play with. And I've got some favorites. I really like the Riz Media. Like I said, it definitely gives me some elevator speech tools, but it also tells me a lot about what's going on in the industry. And the new RPR AI script writing tool is crazy. I did last week. I went into that. And by the way, when you go into the new RPR tool, it kind of walks you through getting to that script writing tool with some nice graphics and everything. But I let it take the 2 or 3 seconds to write a video script for me, and I just about fell out of my chair. I was like, this is really good based on the information that's here. So, but what cool tools did Canopy MLS add this year that our members should be using in their business?
Well, as Debbie said, List Track, that's a big one.
Yes.
And again, that was, after our conversion of data, just made it more clear where our data is going, and able to report it to not only the realtors, but also their seller clients. Right. When they're concerned about, am I getting exposure on the internet? There's a report that an agent can present, and it's automated.
Yeah. And List Track's right there on the homepage.
It is.
And you can go see all your listings and your online presence for those, or you can choose a specific listing to get that data to a client. Say, here's where your exposure, here's how many hits we've been getting. And yeah, it's a great tool.
And a brokerage can leverage that because they can see that for their firm. They can also see it for individual agents and see maybe where they can help an agent. You know, maybe perform a little better.
Yeah, get better marketing out there.
Because a lot of times agents are kind of in the dark until stuff starts happening. It's like, that was what, maybe there's some experience out there that might help them get there a little quicker. Right. And be able to see that report and, know the patterns that listings go through online. Yeah,
and it's great. It's graphic based, so it's very easy
Lots
to
of charts and graphs.
Yeah.
Another one, were the news. We've talked about that ad nauseum here. Another thing that we've been working on really heavily, myself and Kim Walker, who's in marketing, and she writes a lot of our press releases, is Fast Stats and SAM. We found that our market has grown so much over the years that we weren't defining most often the price segments that were really represented in the Charlotte market. Right. So we were seeing, 5-6 years ago, 300 and up was a pretty big number. Yeah. Right. And now we're looking at that, that high end is now 600 and up, or even 800 and up in some markets. So we're having them dynamically adjust the price ranges in SAM. So whatever market you pick, it'll create ranges that are relevant to that market. We're also doing the same thing for our fast stat reports, specifically the market conditions report, where we would break it out by bedrooms or by price points. So they're now more relative. So you got equal amounts, kind of like grading on a curve, equal amounts in each bin or each price point. So it really defines the market a little better.
Yeah.
Nice. And we've also added some other price points to that as well. So those are some changes. We're also adding, this is really exciting for our people, and I'll just tease a couple people, our Mint Hill people and our Indian Trail people and our Belmont people that are looking for a local market update. We're going to have those for you.
Nice.
We're going to deliver, I think, 12 new cities. Okay. Those are just some of them. Yeah. We've identified some markets where we've seen some activity where we, definitely want to give those folks a one-page report that they can give to their consumers. Yeah. Really easily.
Or repurpose somehow for themselves.
For social media, whatever you want to do, or just, use it in your newsletter or just use it in your talking points. We want to make sure we've got stuff for everybody locally. So we're constantly looking at that, making sure we're giving them the right markets for their particular conversation. So, and then the other thing, and this is an old one, and we've been promoting this in a lot because I really think they're a great partner. And that's Rate Plug. It's a free service to our members. Lenders pay to have a presence on their One Home portal. And some people may remember the marketplace from years ago when we launched One Home. Well, the marketplace is now turned into a real realtor marketplace where they are the ones that are control and curate the content, the vendors that are there. And Rate Plug is the first one. So they're able to present current rates and products that their lenders are presenting for the specific listing in One Home. So now a consumer can go right to it, get pre-approved right there. They don't have to call their realtor. They can go right to their curated marketplace and contact a lender that their realtor has presented to them.
Yeah, through the One Home page.
Through One Home, And the lenders pay, and they also, a lot of our members don't know that they can also get flyers created for open houses, digital or paper. They do a lot of work for our members. And again, all just to get that exposure on their listings where they want to be.
Yeah.
So they're a great partner as well. We really like them a lot.
And we have been using Rate Plug and now the One Home for quite a while, but that integration is getting
that marriage has really been great. Yes.
Yeah. It is so true that keeping up with these innovations is a challenge. And, especially when we just want to help a client buy and sell a home. That's what we're trying to do. And, let's look at the AI. Artificial intelligence has now entered the chat. Well, literally chat GPT, but AI's here. So let's talk about some tools that are using AI now and that our members should be playing with.
And Todd, so you all alluded to the chat GPT enabled market reports script writer for an RPR. So it's really cool. And you did a video with it, but you could easily do social media scripts with it.
Yes.
You can do written. All you got to do is tell it what market it is.
Yeah.
It could be a city. It could be a zip code. It could be a neighborhood.
You literally click on, I want a video script. I want it in this type of voice.
Yes. Professional, casual, or something.
Yeah.
And is it for a buyer or seller?
Yeah. And it writes it based on those criteria. It's amazing.
It does.
And Chat GPT has really come on the scene hot and heavy in the last, 6 months to 9 months. And to have it already integrated for something that we can use every day is amazing how fast that technology is moving.
And it's funny because we've been actually testing some of our reports that are just raw PDFs and plugging them into Chat GPT. They do a decent job of discovering. We just have to figure out how much, because when you copy and paste, if you get one character wrong, it misrepresents the whole thing.
It's still a computer.
But it still does. It pulls out the key points and it says here, and it creates talking points. So, the sky's the limit with AI, really.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing, actually, for sure.
But so hate to, bring it back down to earth, but I do want to just say that with AI, we do just kind of also have to caution realtors to be aware that anytime you're using AI to produce something, it has to be, you have to fact check everything because
it's me that is putting it out there. I'm the realtor. I'm the last stop.
Right.
On
and
if that information is correct. You
that.
are right about that.
Yeah. And, also, if it's something that you want to be able to protect, right? Like we get complaints through through the MLS and through compliance about, sometimes another realtor copied a photo or another realtor copied like remarks or something, so if it's something you want to be able to protect, then, you're not going to want to use AI for that because the protections might not be there.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So just,
it is interesting. All that legalese is coming on that. It's so new that the protections aren't there yet. Good point. Yeah.
And just also, be careful because it's, content from some third party, you don't know that you really have permission to use it. So you got to be careful of, always just make sure you have permission if you are going to be using it in a way, especially, plagiarism, that kind of stuff. So, you do just want to kind of be careful with that.
And I did find myself in that RPR tool when it wrote the script. I then went back and looked at it compared to the actual statistics and said, did those numbers match? Does that thought make sense? I mean, honestly, it was amazing how close it got, but it is the realtor that is the stopping point. So yes, make sure what you're putting out there is accurate.
And it does need to be your voice too.
Yes.
I mean, because your consumers know you, right? And if you're putting stuff out that's all of a sudden like really glossed up and really like perfect, and you're known for like misspelling words or like slang or whatever, it's whoa, is this the same person? So you got to market yourself the way you've intended to do so as well.
Yeah, maybe that's the beauty of AI. So far, it can't get us perfect.
Right.
It's gonna be sad when it can. Actually.
Yeah.
So what else do we have in store this year, Debbie? Anything else you can think of?
Well, we don't have a date set yet, but we do have an integration coming with the Green Building Registry, which is provides verified green and energy efficient data to the real estate market. So that integration will be to provide deep links from listings in Matrix to the Green Building Registry data. And
can we talk about the Green Building Registry for just a second? Because we went back and forth in MLS advisory on this several different times, trying to figure out, one, how do we integrate it? And then we found out that really there isn't enough data yet to do a full integration of it. So we had to kind of change our game plan. But that's a lot of the stuff that happens in the background to make sure these tools work.
Right. What we really wanted was for it to be integrated into Realist.
Right.
So that it could be auto-populated into the listing. But as you said, there's just not enough green building data, throughout North and South Carolina on properties to make it a good user experience.
And we felt like, though, in order to get that down the road to be more data, we'd have to start integrating it now, which is why we're doing it,
Right. There's certainly a demand for it.
Yes.
So, and the more the consumer, the realtor is providing that information for people who want it, then
has eyes on it,
there will be, the demand will grow.
Yes.
It's supply and demand, right?
Yeah. So it'll probably change again 2 or 3 years down the road how it's integrated.
It could.
But it's time for that in our market, especially. Yeah.
And then, this isn't really a tech change, but the other big thing that we're working on is a major overhaul of the Canopy MLS rules and regulations. It's been several years since, we just took a fresh look at it. And so the goal is to simplify, clarify, especially with our enforcement policies, and just to help elevate the members' understanding and experience with the rules. So
you've really been working with a subcommittee on our MLS advisory, and thank you. A shout out to those guys because they've really gone deep into the weeds with multiple times trying to get through this and clarify this stuff. And that's part of what, we're a member. We're a realtor, but when you get elevated into leadership, you take on other responsibilities to help do these things. So
right, and we are lucky that we have members who enjoy doing that kind of thing. So
some people look at that and go, rules and reg, that's what you enjoy. But yeah, there are some. Yeah,
right. So, but so that just really kind of ties in really well with the whole data done better, because it is about the technology, but it's also about ensuring that we have that complete and accurate data, because without that, we don't have anything. So
Right.
Right.
And that's really what we're here for, is to try to curate that data correctly. I was looking through some NAR information the other day, and I came across this economic forecast that Dr. Lautz had put out. And it was mentioned in there that due to the pandemic and its impact on work from home and, the hybrid models that are out there right now, that in the past, it used to be that buyers and sellers were moving an average of 15 miles away from their previous home. But now they're seeing that the average move is about 50 miles. That's almost a 3x change. That's a very large change in a short period of time. And then repeat buyers were moving 100 to 500 miles away from their previous home. And that's just in the last 2 years. And Dr. Lautz said that they're not using referrals. Like, in the past, a lot of times they would get a referral from a local agent to go to that move. But now they're searching on websites, they're searching on portals, which is just another reason that we've got to keep up with our technology, because that's how they're going to find us, is through that technology. So, thinking about websites and our footprint online. What are your thoughts on that, Bryan and Debbie? What can realtors do?
Well, Todd, one thing that I would recommend is that every member of ours should visit our data licensing webpage. It's go.canopymls.com/data. We have various different types of data feeds available that members can use to enhance their websites with listing data. And we also have a few tools that provide lead generation opportunities, such as the new home spotlight with Builders Update. There's a tool called Value Map with Realist that realtors can embed into their websites so that site visitors can see what their house might be worth. So things like that realtors can use to, help capture some of those leads.
Right, enhance their website.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that's great.
And Todd, I want to speak to a survey that Eddie and I put out about technology, what was important to agents. And so e-signature, lockbox, and local apps and technology were the top three.
Yes.
And then you had others that kind of ranked. You had security, 5G, drones. And there's some other things that I think are coming.
Yes.
So I think those first three are vital, right? Because if they can't get in the house, right, they're not going to see it. They can't see it. Access, very important.
And I think drones are definitely being used more, especially in our, western region, showing off the view. But even our larger properties around here, our lake properties and such, I'm seeing more and more drone work being done for sure.
Yeah. Local market know-how is another one.
Okay.
You got to have the local expert.
For sure.
So you got to have the local expert. And then finally, signatures. We want to get this done. And gone are the days where I got to go meet somebody somewhere. Everything's very convenient. So I think those are very important. It's pretty clear that those are probably the three most important things.
Changed my business since the pandemic. I've done e-signature almost for everything. Even if we have a complete conversation about something, they just want to e-sign now. Yeah, they don't even want to pick up a pen anymore.
And it's funny because I didn't hear about it in my regular life, right? I just heard that realtors were starting to do it. And so, it was something that they would call about every now and then. We have e-signature through zip forms and all the form softwares. But I've also seen it in my regular life more. Like it's become more, real estate, I think we're ahead of the curve. Yeah. Especially with all the documents that have to be signed. And
for
all
sure.
The I's and the T's have to be taken care of. It's a pretty big undertaking to do that, to make those legally binding. But I think it has been a game changer. Drones, huge for, luxury homes to show the land, and especially like you said in the mountains. Great.
Yeah.
I think cars are going to change, and I know Todd, you're an owner of an electric car.
Yeah.
I don't know if you trust the self-driving. I've been in a self-driving car. I don't think I'd sit in the back seat, but that could be the
I'm
future.
Not there yet. No.
But I know that it could become more of an office for someone. So it might change, their schedule for the day. Because, now I don't have to do all this stuff at home. I can do it on the way to work, right? With a self-driving car, or with a car that's a little smarter and do some of the business things, with a voice rather than.
And I'll tell you one thing for me, driving an electric car, I drive a Tesla, it has a big screen. When I do have people in my car, which sometimes isn't happening as much anymore, as from the pandemic. But when I do have people on my car and we pull up to a neighborhood and they can overhead on my screen see the pool, see the clubhouse, see where it relates to the dot on the screen where we're going to go. We get there and we can see overhead the view of the back property lines and everything. It probably saves me 10 or 15 minutes when I'm in the house trying to explain stuff because we're looking at it on a map in the device that we're driving in. Yep. It's amazing.
So cars, I think, that's a in the future thing, but definitely it's happening.
It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah. Those are great points, Bryan. Is there anything else you're seeing that we need to be aware of?
Well, 5G, as the survey said, is important. And for us, especially for our Western region, I know that connectivity has been a difficult thing. And I think 5G is going to improve that for internet as well as phones. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a game changer. And I do think that security, as was important in the survey, I think we're really doing a good job here at Canopy. We've got 2 applications, Showing Time and Super, that both have security features. We're educating about security as well, our members. And we're also vetting some new products potentially that we could use to help our members be even more secure with this ever-growing, what's happening out there. And sometimes people are alone, and we just want to make sure people are protected. Our grandmothers, our mothers, and our daughters and our sons, we want to make sure that they're taken care of out there.
We're lucky we don't have very many incidences with realtors in this marketplace, and yet we can't have one. Right. I mean, we are putting ourselves out there with stranger danger. Yep. And that's part of our business. So yes, that security is very important, and more is coming on that for sure.
Yes.
And speaking of, Debbie, looking ahead in 2024, what are some of the changes coming to Canopy MLS? What's the breaking news that you can share with us?
Well, a date hasn't been set yet, but we are working to integrate with the Green Building Registry, which provides verified green and energy efficient data to the real estate market. This integration will include deep links from listings and matrix to the Green Building Registry data.
And can we chat for a minute about the thought process that went into implementing this green registry? Because MLS Advisory and a lot of other people kind of dug through this for a while.
We did. Initially, what we wanted was to be able to auto-populate data from Realist into the listings.
Right.
And unfortunately, we're not able to do it that way. So what we are able to do is create these deep links where if you're on a listing and it does have Green Building Registry information, there will be a link, with the other links, like your showing time links and your realist tax links. Right. So it'll have an icon for a link over to the Green Building Registry. Perfect. So members will be able to know that there is that information and then pull down those reports.
Yeah. Awesome. Just kind of wrapping up, if our agents are out there and they're like completely lost and technology is overwhelming to them and they feel like they're behind the curve because there's always, as soon as you learn one thing, another thing is coming. Bryan, what can they do to catch up? What are some things?
So they can reach out to my team of superheroes. We have a great team that comes where you need us. We're ready and willing to come to the rescue. We offer live and recorded webinars. We do live and online office trainings, so we can even do a Zoom for your office.
Yep.
We've been known to show up at association events to announce new products and features when we get invited by the local association. So we do support individual offices. We also support the larger associations that are trying to promote the value of the MLS in their places as well. And also reach out to us, brokerrelations@canopyrealtors.com.
What is that again?
brokerrelations@canopyrealtors.com. Okay. Or you can start with the support desk. They're available 8:30 to 5 Monday through Friday.
Give them a call.
8:30 to 3 on Saturday. I know Saturday call volume's not high. It's a great time to get some support.
I think it's because they don't think they can call anybody.
I guess, yeah. Because usually they call and it's like, okay, I guess nobody's there.
Call back on a weekday.
They just, hey, hang on and just listen. They'll tell you what to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're here for you. We want them to know we're here for them. We know there's pains in technology and the change. And it's fast, and we're trying to keep up. And I think we are, and we got a great team to do that.
And I think your team and Debbie, your team do a great job of getting it down to whatever level that person's at. Like I call in sometimes and I have a tech question, but I'm kind of a higher level user and they lay it on to me as a higher level user. But I know some of my peers aren't, and they break it down in a simple way to understand. So please don't feel like you can't call and ask questions, because you can. That's what the tech support is for.
Yeah.
For sure.
Not calling was a bad decision.
Never suffer in silence.
Yes.
Never.
Yes.
Like, if you are struggling, pick up the phone and call us.
Right.
We want to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. And it's clear that tech is playing a key role in our lives and business, and Canopy MLS clearly has an eye on the future, which will continue to empower our realtors in the Piedmont region of North Carolina with the latest tools, driving the future of real estate and helping realtors build staying power. Do either of you have any final thoughts as we're wrapping up here?
I think, like what we just said, if you're experiencing issues or you want to learn more, all you have to do is just, reach out to us, pick up the phone, call MLS support, send us an email.
All right.
We are happy to help in whatever way we can. And just know that, our goal is to, provide the technology that's going to help take our members to that next level and help them in their business. So that is what we're all about.
I always got your eye on that for sure. Yeah.
So I think that just know that if you're successful, technology can make you more successful, but it can also be a hindrance. So don't think that everything has to be built into your business. Find the things that work for you.
True.
For your market, for your personality, for the way that you like to work. Because they're self-employed, right? They did this because they wanted to do something on their own. They didn't want somebody telling them how to do it.
Yeah.
Right. So take the things that work for you. And if you want to implement something new, again, give us a shout. We'll kind of find a way to plug that in. It may not be the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because some of our products, I might not recommend you use the whole piece, but there's this one thing that does really great.
That's a great point. I mean, like for me, I looked at that RPR tool and the market trends. I think that's awesome, but everybody should look at it.
Correct.
But you might look at it and say, well, that's not for me.
And that's not my personality. I'm not a social media guy. I'm not going to make video, right?
Right.
Or I might, but it might not be the thing that I'm excited about.
But know the tool is there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And just one more, just to kind of promote something, the Remind tool has a Air DNA product, which will give you perspective on short-term rentals. So just stuff like that. I mean,
well, there's
that
one
you'll
I've
just
got to
discover.
look at.
Yeah. So call us. We'll tell you about them.
All right.
For sure.
That's awesome. In summarizing things, I think it's important to remember that tech, including social media, is here to stay. And here's the proof. 89% of realtors are using Facebook, 59% are using Instagram, and 63% of realtors in general are using social media to promote their listings. And according to NAR, 67% of realtors have come to expect new tech from their MLS. So that is what they're expecting from us, which is why there's so much new technology we're putting out there. And now that AI has the potential to take over some of the mundane tasks in real estate, our industry has to be vigilant about our online presence and the use of these innovations. We've got to incorporate best practices and standards, because that's what will set us apart and keep our clients coming back to us. Remember, no matter how much tech comes into the real estate industry, at the heart of every transaction are still the human beings. We need to remember that we still control and manage these tools, and the way to do that is to be informed.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Inside the Canopy Files, presented by Canopy Realtor Association in Charlotte, North Carolina. Connect with us online at carolinahome.com.